What did the end of the Cold War mean for Africa? American leaders and European leaders all of a sudden had no use for dictatorships in Africa, so they were like, now you can have human rights with a little bit of capitalism as a treat. So African leaders that may have had all kinds of different political programs had to abandon them and become good Western neoliberal capitalists. So what were the results, right? Yeah, public education deteriorates, right? Because you have to introduce school fees rather than taxing people for education. 1980s, if you're cutting your budget for healthcare spending, HIV/AIDS is getting ready to hit, so this is going to form a perfect storm for African countries, right? And then instead of making economies grow fast, most African economies actually stalled. And then what you see is economic inequality enter into Africa. You can trace directly to the 80s and the 90s. These economic reforms lead to this growth of this African 1% that you're kind of starting to see. So the divide between the rich and the poor gets much, much larger with the cuts to social programs. So if you wanted to think, as a political scientist, what is the physical representation of structural adjustment? One is, look at this cool revolutionary with his aviators. But then look at this cool democratic neoliberal with his nice business suit with Bill Clinton applauding. Yeah, Ghana goes from a country that's courting the Soviet Union to becoming the darling of the Western world. Aid money starts flowing in, and Ghana actually is the only country that would be visited by, African country that was visited by consecutive American presidents. Fun story about this, Bill Clinton on his official state visit refused to take off his wool suit to show his bare shoulder in 90-degree Ghanaian weather. So he put his kente cloth over it and nearly passed out during his speech.